This episode is not sponsored, but we encourage you to help support the small businesses, charities, and organisations that we mention.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Our Circle. I'm Rhiannon.
And I'm Jess.
And today we are joined by a very special guest, our dear friend Laura Hall, also known as Fern Designs, who is a freelance graphic designer.
Yay!
Welcome. Thank you for joining us today. I'm very excited to have you on here. Well, we both are, and we're excited to share just all about you, all of your amazingness. Can you explain to our listeners, just first off, what a graphic designer is and what a digital creator is? Because you are all within that realm. So could you explain to our listeners what that is?
Sure. So I guess kind of as its most basic term, I guess in my old jobs, we always used to say we just make things look pretty. So kind of when people give us this brief, and it's usually in a little Word document or something, and then we'd have to go and design it and make it look a bit more appealing to the eye. So I guess that's on the basic level. That's what I do, is I make things pretty for a living. I try to at least, and I hope I do it well enough. But then in terms of what I do now with the digital stuff is I mainly focus on Instagram and making things look pretty for Instagram. So all some posts that you'll see for other people, I can help design those.
So now are you focusing more on Instagram and online stuff completely now? Yeah.
I think especially with all the lockdown stuff, there's been so many more kind of small businesses opening up online, and it's just, I found that there is so I can work with people all over the place. So I'm working with people in Dubai and Europe, and it's so much easier.
What a flex! I was just like, okay.
Put that in,
Yeah.
But it's so, and there's all different types of business as well, and most I think it's like if you've got a business, if you don't have an Instagram account, it's kind of like, why? It's one of the things with Facebook now, it's one of the things people go straight to find out more about businesses. So there's a lot of people that still use it to actively sell on there.
I think people forget that all businesses have a type of branding, whether it's good or bad, whether it's apparent or not. They have a branding, because you have to be able to see the name or know what the company is. And so I think your job has become very crucial, like you said, for especially in lockdown, where people have begun their own businesses and things like that. Those things take time, well, if you're wanting it done well.
Yeah.
So it is a really time consuming job, and I think Jess and I can both speak firsthand that we very much appreciate, directly to you. We, for anyone who doesn't know, I'm sorry, just to clarify, I'm going to call her Bunny. Bunny has been the name that I've called her since we've been at uni together. So that is her name. Her name is Laura, but that's just weird to me. So
you do now that you say, and even with you, Jess, it's just like, no, it's Bunny.
Yeah. Yeah, Bunny is actually our graphic designer. She created our logo for our circle. She is also my graphic designer for Being Rhiannon Art. She is the graphic designer for sorting out Nina's Flowers, which is Jess's mum's floral arrangement business. So she's everywhere. She's getting around.
How did you get into graphic design? How did you decide that's what you wanted to do?
I didn't really decide, okay, I'm going to go into this. It was more, all throughout my education, I've always gone towards media studies. And then even with college and things, I just found that a little bit more fun. I like, as much as I can sit down at a desk all day, I don't like Word and Excel and those kinds of things. I want to be able to have a bit more freedom with stuff. I'm very much a Mac person, and I'll work in those kinds of things. And it's just a lot more creative. And then doing media at uni, again, I didn't decide to go into graphic design specifically. It was more a case of, for my final dissertation, I did a piece of print work, and actually, I made a magazine kind of thing, and I thought, okay, this is quite fun.
Hang on a second. You really completely undersold yourself there. She didn't create a magazine. She made a moving magazine. So she tried to replicate Harry Potter's moving elements, in.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's slightly different to just a magazine.
And this is why she got the highest mark of our year at uni. She got the highest score. So
well done.
Yeah. Let's not oversee that thing there, please.
No, I enjoy. Yes, that was actually, it was quite a fun. But now, like, I look back at it and I'm like, geez, I can do way better on that. And it's mad. Like, every now and again, I'd like to go back and do it again, I think, and just see how different it would look now. But yeah, so I guess how I got into it was I've always gone into kind of media studies, and then after uni, I got a job with a graphic design firm, which was in-house design team. So we were designing stuff just for one company, and then I got a bit bored of that. So I went on to agency, which is kind of designing stuff for all different kind of companies, and then I got a bit bored of that.
Is graphic design hard to get into?
I think there's so much competition, so much, and I've been quite lucky because I don't live in central London. I'm down south, so there's less competition. But then I guess the not the quality, but it's a different kind of game, really. I think if you're graphic designing in London, like with agencies and stuff, you're kind of expected to work from 7 till 11, that kind of thing. Maybe I'm not sure, not first-hand experience, but I think just down here everything just runs a bit smoother, and there are a few more opportunities. But especially down here, people don't tend to leave their jobs as often as they would in London. Like the turnover of staff isn't as much because people tend to get a job and then stick with it forever. So new openings don't come around that much. But I was very lucky to get the one I did, and it taught me a lot.
Well, it sounds it, yeah. When you say, like, on reflection, looking back at your uni work, and you just think, like, you can see in yourself that you've come so far since then. That's through just, like, experience, isn't it?
That sounds mad to me as well, knowing the person who got the top mark in uni says, oh, I wish I could go back and do better. Like,
I just did, like, before, like, I didn't even like the programs and the things I can do on them now. It's just totally different, and I can work quicker, I can work more efficiently. There's just better ways.
Do you feel like your style has changed at all? Like, do you feel like you've kind of found yourself a bit more?
I think so. And I think before I didn't really have one, and I guess with my uni stuff, it was all Harry Potter stuff. So that was where the kind of style was. Safe to say I've grown out of that just a little bit.
Thank God.
now, yeah, I feel like I've got my own kind of style with things. It's very much kind of the certain colours and things I like, and the way, and like my tone of voice, I think that comes out a lot more. And especially now working on my own, I never used that before. Like everything was to somebody else's brief or somebody else's guidelines, and that's what you have to stick to. But it's nice now that it's all from my noggin.
Definitely. I mean, what made you then, do you feel, take the plunge to go out on your own, to start your own business, and during a pandemic?
I guess, well, my last job, it was the dynamic that changed things when we went through to lockdown. I was pretty happy and stuff before, when we were all in the office together, but then the dynamic just changed when we all moved home, and I just found that the teamwork element wasn't there anymore, and I really struggled with that for probably a few months too long, kind of thing. And then I guess it was people like Rhiannon, a few other friends kind of saying, like, you should call it quits now. Like, you're pretty unhappy here. So, and then, like, I had a friend who I used to work with before. She's on Instagram as well. She's pretty established, and she needed some help with some design stuff. And just kind of on the off chance, she sent me a little voice note just saying, would you fancy doing this? I said yes. And then it's just kind of spiraled from there, I've been very fortunate that way.
An upward spiral as well. Do you feel like it's going well?
Yeah, I do. I think at the beginning, because I guess I started officially, I think the 1st of January. So back then I thought, I don't know how the heck I'm going to fill a day. But now it's like I need to get better at stopping by a certain time, kind of thing. So
wow.
Yeah, it feels good. It feels really good.
I'm very proud of you.
Can you explain to our listeners what type of services you provide? Yeah.
So I guess for those people that run businesses, whether it's just on Instagram, so those kind of influencer people who are selling the classic, this is how you get 10,000 followers and all that stuff, or the kind of people, so I work with like a different range. I've got like personal trainers, those kind of influencer people as well, but they then for them to get sales, they need to post on their Instagram. But most of those people aren't designers, so they don't really know what looks good. And though there's free tools out there, they'll put stuff together, and it sometimes it's just not as cohesive. So they can come to me and say, this is what I want it to say, and I can make it look in keeping with their existing branding that they already have. So it's kind of making those little square posts that you see, the kind of carousels as well, all the Instagrammy stuff, really.
When I started my art business, I knew, I mean, everyone who knows me knows I'm quite impatient when it comes to myself. And I just felt like if I wanted to start this, I needed to start straight away. I wanted to get going, but I also didn't want to half-ass it. So I wanted like my business cards. I wanted like thank you cards that I would give with orders, and I wanted like a flyer thing. And we had sort of actually spoke about this beforehand when I was like, oh, it'd be nice to have this sort of stuff, like these sort of marketing things to go with it. But when I suddenly realized I wanted it to be a business, I was like, okay, right, I need a designer, because I just thought if I try and do this, it's going to take me too long to I'll fuss over it, and it was just really, really like it wouldn't be good for me. So being able to hand it over to a graphic designer like Bunny, like Fern Designs, she had it done within days. I think also it helps that you know how I am, but like as in, you know what I like, you know the sort of style I like. You also had, I think you had created my logo, or I'd given it to you before or something. So obviously that helped, but it was just so quick and easy, and it meant that I could just get on with the stuff that I wanted to do. Because as much as it would be nice to say, oh, I created my own business cards or whatever, and I guess to some degree I did because I gave you direction, but the actual execution of it all, just taking that off my plate, I just couldn't recommend that enough to anyone starting their own business, or just anything that's like some sort of venture that involves branding yourself. Go to a graphic designer, because they will really, really help relieve you of that stress, because it definitely did for me. It definitely helped with Jess's mum when we were trying to help her with that. I think you did more than what you were doing though for me. You did a web design, didn't you?
Yeah, so yeah, you did the website. You also sent everything in the formats so that we could get business cards, and it's amazing, like how you don't realize like how much you need that. I think at the beginning you're like, no, you can't do everything on an app yourself. Like,
no, I mean, no. And if you do, it's very obvious.
This is you can. I think like you explained it better than I did. It's just that it's taking that load off people and just saying, okay,
it is but it's insane amounts. Like even with the podcast, Jess and this podcast has actually been very quick if you think about it. Like Jess and I sort of always talked about the idea of, oh, that could be cool or something, and then when I can't even remember when exactly. I'm sure if we look through our text threads or something, we'd probably find the moment where I was like, I want to do this, anyone in, sort of thing, and Jess like, yes. And so we started sort of talking about it a little bit, and then I was like, if I put like something together that talks about what we could make this into, and then we go from there. And I did that, and just like, right, I'm in, like I'm all in. And I was like, we need a logo, we need a look, we need something. We gave ourselves the deadline of, I think it was Christmas Day that we announced that this was a thing. And so we gave Bunny the deadline from, I think, the 19th of December to finish by the 25th. And I'm pretty sure you had it done by the 21st. It was ridiculous. Like, and I'm not trying to tell everyone, oh, by the way, if you go to Bunny, it's going to be insanely speedy. I don't want to put that pressure on. But I'm just saying, this is how beneficial it is to have someone who can get that design part of your business, of your branding, of the beginning initial starts of whatever you're creating. It just helps. It's so much quicker.
And then you can focus on other things as well. So someone else can sort of deal with that side of it, especially if you're not very creative as well. Like I can imagine that would be such a load off your shoulders to be like, right, someone else who knows what they're doing, just crack on. And also I think those things that you were saying earlier that you have, Ree, with like I'm a consumer of being around in art, and I've had my things sent to me with like the flyer, the thank you, all these things, and it's just such a lovely personal touch, and I think it makes so much difference.
I think
and
so
it's
too.
And I think it's so worth getting that done, and like sending those out with your products. I think it's
you're adding value to your own brand. Like the better quality that your stuff is, obviously the better it's received, the better like everyone views it and consumes it. So that's us on our rant of yes. But can you tell us then about the pros and the cons that you find of working for yourself?
So I guess pros, I have the freedom in the sense, so last week I needed to take some time off, and it was like, okay, I don't have to apply for holiday if I feel crappy one day, then it's up to me. It's like, I'm done. I can do this. Or and like when I first started, I booked a dentist appointment, and I booked it in, and I remember I was like doing the process of it, and I thought, oh no, I just need to check if that's okay. But it's little things like that. It's like, I don't need to ask my boss if I can go to the dentist, kind of thing. It's more on my schedule, which makes a massive difference. And like, I like the structure of things, but also don't. It's nice that I don't have to start at 9 o'clock. If I want to start at 6 o'clock in the morning, I can, but then I can finish at 2. Or if I want to start at 12 or something, and it's that kind of rearrangement of the day that helps, and it's all on my terms, which I think I'm a bit more selfish than I realized.
It's funny though you say that, because I was just thinking, literally, when you said about asking for permission to go to the dentist, isn't that such a weird concept to think that you're asking permission from other people to do things that you should just be allowed to do, like you would be allowed to do? Yeah, like when you think about it like that is really strange. But obviously, like, I guess it's normal, isn't it? Like you do have to ask to take time off work, but yeah, that is kind of a strange sort of thought, I guess.
It's weird, but like I'm happy with that dynamic. And I guess the cons is like, it's quite overwhelming at times, and everything is on my shoulders. So I guess I'm the receptionist, I'm the designer, I'm the marketing manager, I'm everyone all wrapped into one. But then I also have to be Laura on the side. It's trying to not let it kind of overwhelm and take control. And I guess because everything is on my shoulders, it's my response. Like, I guess when I was in a company, it was okay, the client's a bit ticked off at something, but my manager can deal with that. Right. But now it's like, if somebody isn't too happy, or that customer service is all on me now. And not that I was a rubbish employee before.
Not at all.
Kind of like,
all these complaints
coming through. No. It's everything is on me now, and that's quite overwhelming.
Do you feel like you found a way to cope with that?
I'm still figuring it out. In all honesty, it's a challenge, but I guess each week, and then there's something that will happen one week, and it's like, oh, I should have thought of that, and then but next time I will. And it's
learning curve.
Massive, yeah. And it's huge. And like everyone always said, we never get taught this stuff at uni. There was never a kind of a sense, like, we're all in, especially in a media course, there's a lot of room for people going off on their own, and you're never taught how to do it by yourself. It's just always, you have to make this portfolio and you have to go and apply somewhere else. But you really don't. And there's a big kind of thing going on at the moment is, do you need a design degree kind of thing? And it's like, well, I don't think so in that sense, because yes, I learned the fundamentals, and then I gained so much more experience through work and things like that with agencies. But especially through Instagram, I've meet other designers and I talk to them, and it's a lot of them don't have that kind of background that I do. They're just kind of self-taught, and they've just found that they have this creative flair and have been able to turn it into something.
Do you feel that a non-creative person can gain, you know, like how people say, oh, they've got an eye for this, they've got an eye for typography, they've got an eye for color schemes, they've got an eye for this? Do you think someone non-creative can develop an eye for things, or do you think that is sometimes not the case? Like, you either are creative or you're not, or like, do you feel like it can be taught?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, like, there's always going to be somebody that thinks something goes with something, and just like, really? But that's what they like, and it's like, okay, well, that's your style then. If there's probably going to be somebody out there that likes the look of that. It may not be the majority, but there might be somebody that likes your kind of look and feel. So I think everyone is, and even if it's like when you go back at school, like doodling and things like that, everyone's got this little outlet of something that they can use. Or and if you sit there humming, like, that's a creative outlet, and everyone's got that, I'd say.
Have you got experience then of people coming to you with a brief, and then you create something, and then they're like, no, I want it like this or whatever, and you're just like, really? And then you kind of have to hold back what your thoughts are on it, because they're quite specific, like, no, I want it like this.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, that's not going to go down well in your head.
Yeah, I'd say that's not like a daily struggle, but it's probably like a weekly struggle. Like, that will, and I don't think I'm alone in that with designers. Like, it will happen. There's always somebody that will come and they're set in stone of what they want, but then they've employed a graphic designer, but don't really want to listen to what the graphic designer has to say, or they kind of won't take that into account, which is a bit counterintuitive, I guess. But yeah, there's some people that are very insistent in what they want and they don't want to change anything.
So do you feel like with your job, with a graphic design job, it doesn't just come like with you being silent and just doing the job? Do you think it should come with you sort of bringing your experience and like your voice to it as well?
I think so, yeah. And it's kind of, I base it on the client as well. Sometimes clients will just say, no, this is what I want. It's like, okay, that's fine, we'll work with that. Or some people are very open to it, and they'll let me kind of have that creative. Obviously I won't, if everything's green, I'm not going to chuck a yellow in, that kind of thing. I'll keep it consistent, but it's those little changes that I think they may have not spotted before, or it's consistencies in when you post. It's, I think, little things that people might not notice, whereas I hopefully would. But no, there's definitely some people that are very set in stone. But then on the other side, there's some people that I just have complete creative license for, and that's
do you have a preference? Like, do you find it easier if someone comes to you with a full brief of everything that they want, or do you kind of prefer if like having free reign of everything?
I'm not sure yet. I've got both. Like, I've got a few clients that know, and every week they give me exactly what they want and things like that. But so then but it comes to, I do kind of what they want, but hold back in myself, and I wish I'd just kind of gone for it. But then you feel a little bit conflicted. It's just like, well, no, I need to stick to the brief. Also, they've hired me to be creative and to do those little things. So it's finding that balance. But I think I definitely prefer to have a bit more kind of freedom with it. Definitely.
That's cool.
What advice do you have for a new business that's wanting to approach a digital creator like yourself? Do you think there's like a basic checklist that they need to approach you with that would make your life easier, but also make what they want sort of come to life?
As in they're looking for a designer?
Yeah.
So I kind of have like a little form on my website where people can fill that in, and it usually gives me enough information to go off. So it's just
what is sort of stated on that form then? Like, what's that sort of checklist to you then?
It would be so obviously, like, tell me who you are, what because I specialize in the Instagram and stuff. It's like, okay, what is your Instagram handle, what is your business, what's it all about, and kind of if they have any idea on their ideal client, which hopefully they would, it's sharing that kind of information with me. And then usually the way I'll go down is I ask for kind of inspiration. So it's always tricky as well, because I think when I say inspiration, I don't mean copy this. And I think a lot of clients do think, oh, well, I just want this replicated on my page. And obviously I can't do that anyway, but I don't want to. So I kind of say, like, what do you kind of like? So whether that's they send me some Instagram profiles, or I'd like to set up like a Pinterest board and go that way and just kind of chuck everything on a wall. And usually that kind of lets me see what they like in terms of styling, if it's certain colors, if it's certain patterns, or the kind of font and things they like. I can usually gauge from that where they're going, and then I'll have a call with them and we can chat through it a bit more.
So there is like a process to everything. It's not like someone just sort of necessarily comes straight at you and be like, please make this sort of right now. Like, they need
I don't think I'd be doing right by them if I just said, yep, I can do it in the next hour. Like, I don't think that's fair. And I think
that's
like,
fair on you as well, like to give yourself that sort of process to getting to there.
It makes it a lot easier, I think, down the line as well, because if they're kind of clear with what they do like and so I don't know, if they don't like circles and then I'm chucking circles everywhere, it will be a lot easier if in the first place they say I don't like circles. It helps me. So to have those conversations, it helps me further down the line.
Definitely. I mean, along with being busy and successful and creative with everything that you have with Fern Designs, I think it would only be fair to let everyone know that you're also a qualified yoga instructor, along with a running enthusiast as well. And you've kind of merged the two. So she also has an Instagram account for that, which is
running yogi.
A running yogi. A running yogi. So you can go and follow her there as well. What came first, yoga or running for you?
Running.
Yeah. How did that start again, for listeners?
Classic breakup story. And then I just thought I'm gonna run myself through this, and I did, and it stuck. Like I picked up so many things before and kind of tried for a few months, but running has been the only kind of constant. And yes, it's fluctuated as always, but I will still go out for a run. And so yeah, running came first.
And then how did yoga come about?
That was it's very traumatic with everything. No, that was stress at uni as well. So I think I just kind of like.
Oh yeah, I was literally just trying to think. I don't remember you starting yoga, but now I do. It's because you were like, I'm stressed.
I need something. Oh, maybe yoga came first then.
Yeah, no, yoga came first, but maybe not to the degree it is now.
No, yeah, yoga came first.
Do you have a preference for either one?
No, it depends. I think it depends on my mood. If I've just had enough of the world, I need to go out for a run. If my body just doesn't feel like doing much, then I'll do some yoga. And I'm trying to do I'm better at it, doing the habit of yoga every day and that kind of thing. But even teachers don't always do it. Kind of, I don't live and breathe it. It's just a constant there.
I was going to say, it's to me, the way when you just said that, running sounds like your anger release, and when you're like tired and emotional, it's yoga.
Exactly. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense though to me, actually, because the very short period of time where I was running, that really helped, and I was like feeling a lot like of anger. Whereas if I'm feeling really like emotional and vulnerable and just I need calm and something safe, yoga feels quite like almost like a hug, I guess.
Yeah,
like
it does.
Feels a lot better and supportive in that way. So that makes a lot of sense. But how did you decide or go down the teaching route?
I think so. That was 3 years maybe ago. No, 2 years, I think. And it was kind of, I was really unsure of what I wanted to do. I didn't know if I wanted to go into design stuff or if I've always, when I was a little girl, I was always kind of like, I want to work for myself. I don't want to work for the man. I want to do my own thing, kind of.
I was waiting for you to say that. I was like, she's going to say the man. I don't want to work for the man.
And I'm really pleased. Like, it hit me the other day. I was like, I'm not doing that, which is really cool. So that was a nice little realization. And then I wanted the freedom, basically. I wanted to either, whether that's to travel and to kind of do something anywhere. And I think with yoga, what enticed me in was everyone speaks yoga. Kind of whatever country you go to, there will pretty much always be a yoga class. And yes, you may not speak the language, but everyone speaks yoga, I found. And it's kind of, there's that, the connection is definitely worldwide. And I guess in terms of opportunities that I thought that could bring to the table, and it still can, that's what enticed me in and got me very excited to do it.
You actually got to train or do your final sort of course in Egypt, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was
that whole experience.
Oh, it was great. I loved it. It was so there were normally, I think, on the course, so I studied down in Eastbourne, just in my like hometown, and normally on the course I think there's maybe 10 women. This one we had 19 women, and I've never been in a situation with that many women before, and it was so empowering, and it was so lovely. And at first I was very overwhelmed by it. I didn't really feel that comfortable, but by the end of it I was transformed, if you like. But it was just to be around, the support was insane, and it's just everyone wanted good things for each other, truly wanted good things, and that was just the best. And it was such a lovely trip. We all had a week out there, and we laughed, we cried, we did everything, and it was great. Really lovely way to finish everything off. Yeah, and we still talk. So I
was going to ask, are you still in touch with them?
Yeah, we've got like a WhatsApp, and it goes a bit nuts sometimes, so I will put it on mute every now and again. But with 19 women in one chat, it's
wow, yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, it's quite intense, but they're all lovely, and there's been babies born and all of this, and it's just like there's all these transitions in people's lives. It's nice if something happens, be like, guys, I just did this, and the support that comes with it is it's mind-blowing.
So how often, I mean, I know it's been slowed down a little bit because of the pandemic and stuff, but how often were you teaching yoga?
It was twice a week, I think. So on Sundays I do like a beginner's class in my local hometown, and then during the summer I'd probably do 2 early morning kind of rise and shine classes at about 7 o'clock, just down by the beach, the little park. I'm pointing as if you can see. Yeah, 2 or 3 times, but so I miss it. I can't wait to get back to teaching in person again.
One of the classes you provide is yoga for runners, which is quite niche. Have you found that there's a community of yogi runners out there?
So before we came out of the kind of the first lockdown, just after actually, I had so like with my running club and everything, that we've got a big community there, but it's quite hard to motivate. Runners are known for not stretching, but I had a really successful class which was actually just men. I think there were 9 men. Kind of one got in touch, and then the other, like a few of his friends started to hear about it. They got a little bit jealous, and I held the class for them, and there was 9 men in it, and it was one of the best classes I've ever taught. It was hilarious. I've never heard so much like in a class, but it was. But they they took it on so well, and I think there's definitely a community for it, and there's, especially down here, there's so many runners and they could do with a bit more of it, so there's plenty of kind of people that can benefit from it, which is,
I think a lot of people forget there's so many different types of yoga. Like, it's not just one yoga thing. Like, it is quite tailored to different areas of life. Like you said, with running, I often tend to do stuff that's focused on back, like pain and stuff like that, which is obviously good because I need it. And there's baby yoga, there's just so many things. Do you think you'd ever sort of dabble in any of the other ones?
I want to do more vinyasa yoga. I guess so that I do hatha yoga, which is the traditional style, but with vinyasa stuff, it's a little bit more quicker pace. You're really getting into a flow of stuff. So there's a bit of that fitness element in there as well, which I've got plans to kind of venture into training to teach that.
Cool. I mean, that's sort of what I wanted to ask you as well. Like, what are you sort of hoping for the future with both your design, Fern Designs business, with yoga, with running? Did the three ever tie in together with your future plans? What does that future look like for you?
I think, like, I want to stick with my business and things like that. I definitely want to grow that. I think there is something in what I'm doing. There's value with it, and there's people out there that need it and use it. So I want to stick with that. I'd like to kind of travel a bit more, maybe live abroad for a little bit, kind of, because I can do this for wherever. That's the beauty of it. And that's why that's kind of what I've been working towards, is just to pick everything up and move somewhere else. So that's the kind of the dream, I guess, is taking all of this that I've built and moving around with me so I can see all these amazing things on the road.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, the pandemic's probably shown you that, like, how you can, because everything's remote, isn't it, at the moment?
Yeah.
So that's so exciting. So is there anywhere that you hope to live next soon in the future?
I've been considering kind of Dubai, Canada, New Zealand, that kind of way, just similar-ish lifestyle to here, but a lot
more. You just said that kind of way. All three are
Dubai, Canada.
Oh yeah, that kind of way.
Very far from here, basically. Not England.
Right, okay.
All in that side of the world.
How come those three places? What stands out for you with Dubai? What stands out? Because I mean, I know you've been to two of them.
So with Canada, I think it's just the scenery. Like, it is stunning. And just
the maple syrup.
And the maple syrup. They're friendly, and it's just like, England's great, and my little town is lovely, but there's so much more to see. And I think with Dubai, it's just the whole different pace of life. Like, I've only experienced those two places on holidays and trips, but I loved every second while I was there. It's just, I want more. I want another slice of that pie. Really.
What was it that stood out for you for New Zealand? Because that was one that you haven't been to.
I think
is that why? Because you haven't been there?
Yeah, and I think, like, I quite like the idea of being really far away. Not that I really don't like it here, but I just think it's as proper on the other side, you know, like, it would be really cool to just experience that. And it's, and I like the scenery is stunning, and just everything that you've told me about it, it's all good stuff, and it's like, I want to experience that.
I kind of hope that you do all three.
Yeah, me too.
I think it would be really cool for you. I think it would be business smart as well, because you're gonna, like, I mean, you've already dropped that you're working internationally already with people, but it makes but I mean, you know, for you to further that and, you know, actually go and maybe face to face with clients and get more of the environment around that, so that you can consume the culture and stuff like that, I think that would be really cool for you. So definitely I'm hoping for this for you in your future. Well, we like to end all of our conversations with asking our guests what makes up their circle. So I'd like to ask you, what makes up your circle?
Well, friends, for sure. It's like people like you guys. It's just, and I think you've noticed that all in the kind of pandemic and stuff. It's some of my friends, my little family, and cats. They mean a big thing to me. So any kind of cat, I will always find space.
Perfect.
So, I haven't had cats before.
So, that is a first, actually.
So we like to dedicate every episode to a small business, a charity, or an organization. And of course, you are a guest, so we have asked you, and you would like to dedicate this episode to your business, which we absolutely could not support more. So we would like to ask everyone to go and check out Fern Designs. How can they do that?
They can do that through, well, Instagram. There is the main one. So it's Fern_designs, and you should find me on there. Everything, kind of my website and everything's all on there as well.
And it's a very, very pretty website and very fun to look at. So definitely go and check her out. Give her a follow. Tell all your friends and family who are trying to set up their small businesses, who are trying to brand stuff, even if it's like things that people don't always think about. Say that your mum or dad or whatever volunteers at the local football club, and you notice that they could probably have some flyers that need handing out. Think about getting some good quality flyers that could be designed.
It's worth it.
Yeah, exactly. Think about, your kids who have got a fair coming up, a school fair or something, but it has to be done virtually, so they need something designed. Think about these things. It doesn't just have to be businesses. Brand with Fern Designs.
You've seen a new PR management, Rihanna.
Well, thank you very much for joining us. I'm sure we'll get you back just to have you on for fun and discuss something else, but I'm very happy to be talking all about you and your amazing new ventures and future ventures. So everyone, please go and support, and thank you for listening. Please go and check us out on all of our social medias. Make sure you stream on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we'll see you for our next episode.
Bye.